Chinese leader Xi Jinping starts his Southeast Asia tour with Vietnam, looking to strengthen alliances and to give the message that China is a responsible and reliable superpower.
At least 9 people have been injured in overnight Russian attacks on Odessa, following Sunday's deadly attack on Sumy.
Nobel Prize-winning author Mario Vargas Llosa has died aged 89. His family said Llosa passed away peacefully in Lima on Sunday. China's leader Xi Jinping has arrived in Vietnam for a 2-day state visit. He received a high-level welcome in Hanoi, including a formal ceremony with Vietnam's Communist Party leader To Lam. The visit kicks off Xi's tour of Southeast Asia amid ongoing trade tensions with the US. Vietnam is one of the biggest beneficiaries of countries trying to decouple their supply chains from China, with many businesses choosing to relocate to Vietnam. That's why the US views Vietnam as a backdoor for Chinese goods. It was hit with 46% tariffs under Trump's order before the 90-day pause. In an editorial, Xi stressed his commitment to global trade, warning against tariff wars, referencing recent US moves under President Trump. "There are no winners in a tariff war," Xi wrote. The trip is seen as a chance for Beijing to shore up alliances and counter American trade barriers. Xi is scheduled to visit Malaysia and Cambodia next.
At least 9 people have been injured in Russian overnight strikes on Ukraine's port city of Odessa, according to the country's state emergency service. The attacks also started fires and damaged homes, businesses and medical facilities. Ukraine's Air Force reported on their Telegram channel that Russia launched 62 drones affecting the regions of Odessa, Donetsk and Kharkiv. 40 were shot down, while 11 went off radar, they reported. On Sunday, at least 34 people were killed and 117 injured, including 15 children, according to Ukrainian authorities, in a massive attack on the center of the northeastern town of Sumy, around 40 kilometers from Russia. 2 ballistic missiles hit on Sunday morning as people were on their way to church services for Palm Sunday. Ukrainian authorities said that the rockets were packed with cluster munitions.
Top diplomats from France, Poland and the European Union condemned the recent Russian missile attack on the Ukrainian city of Sumy and called for more pressure on Russia to end the war. Meeting with the EU foreign ministers in Luxembourg, the bloc's foreign policy chief Kaja Kallas said that the strike is among the deadliest Ukraine has faced.
We see the deadliest attacks. In this war, civilians are being killed, and of course, it is already 1 month into this period where Ukraine agreed to unconditional ceasefire. We haven't seen that from the Russian side. In this year, European countries have already committed to 23 billion euros, which is more than last year. But we also need to put the pressure on Russia so that they would stop this war.
Officials say the strike killed at least 34 people and further 117 people were wounded. It was the second large-scale attack to claim civilian lives in just over a week.
C'est la démonstration, s'il en fallait encore une, du mépris de Vladimir Poutine pour les populations civiles et pour le droit de la guerre. C'est la démonstration également de ses intentions véritables. Et alors que l'Ukraine a depuis plus d'1 mois maintenant consenti à un cessez-le-feu, de toute évidence, Vladimir Poutine n'a aucune intention de cheminer dans cette direction. Il faut donc l'y contraindre, et c'est pourquoi j'appelle l'Union européenne à prendre les sanctions les plus lourdes.
EU foreign ministers gathered for one-day meeting in Luxembourg in which Ukraine, Syria and EU-African relations are high on the agenda.
The leader of Hungary's opposition, Peter Magyar, held a rally in the capital Budapest in an effort to continue mobilizing support ahead of next year's election. Magyar, who is incumbent Prime Minister Viktor Orban's main political rival, addressed supporters at the event. He promised to reverse Orban's divisive stances and policies which have largely alienated Hungary within Europe and the West at large.
Rendbe tesszük végre a közös ügyeinket. Hazánk, Magyarország újra büszke és megbízható szövetségese lesz a NATO-nak. Magyarország újra teljes jogú tagja lesz az Európai Uniónak.
Criticizing his opponent who rose to power in 2010 and has since held a large two-thirds majority in parliament, Magyar vowed to dismantle his systems and start from scratch.
Ezt a rendszert nem lehet megreformálni, nem lehet kijavítani, nem lehet jobbá tenni. Ezt a rendszert csak leváltani lehet. És mi ezt fogjuk tenni. Törvényesen, demokratikusan, de eltökélten leváltjuk.
Thousands of supporters attending the event believe the upcoming election could bring about different results.
Hát, hogy Magyar Pétert megválasztjuk. És Orbán Viktor megbűnhődik a rengeteg lopásért, amit tett az országban.
Hiszel ebben?
Nagyon. Én hittem 2022-ben is, most még jobban hiszek.
Változás szelét lehet érezni, és kíváncsiak vagyunk rá, hogy mi a helyzet.
Parliamentary elections have not yet been scheduled, but are expected by April next year. Recent polls suggest Magyar has slightly edged ahead in popularity over Orbán, with a campaign aimed at addressing economic and social issues facing the country.
Yemen's Houthi rebels say at least 6 people have been killed and 26 wounded overnight in the latest US airstrikes. Footage aired by local media in Yemen showed firefighters spraying water on a raging fire they described as being sparked by the airstrikes. Earlier on Sunday, a Houthi military spokesman said they shot down a US military Reaper drone over Yemen's Hajj governorate, a border town close to Saudi Arabia.
تمت عملية إسقاط الطائرة بصاروخ أرض الجو محلي الصنع وتعد هذه الطائرة هي الرابعة التي تمكنت دفاعاتنا الجوية من إسقاطها خلال أسبوعين.
According to casualty figures released on Monday by the Houthis' health ministry, at least 120 people have been killed in Yemen in the past month since the start of the intense campaign of US airstrikes. The strikes under US President Donald Trump target the Houthi rebels over their attacks on shipping in the Middle East waters, something the rebels have vowed to continue in support of Palestinians in Gaza.
Donald Trump's physician said the US president is fully fit to serve as commander-in-chief, according to a health report released by the White House. In the report, the doctor who conducted Trump's medical exam cited the US president's active lifestyle and said it continues to contribute significantly to his overall well-being. The medical report also confirmed Trump scored a perfect 30 out of 30 in a cognitive exam, after the US president claimed he got every answer right. Trump is an avid golfer and said he recently won tournaments played at clubs he owns in Florida. The US president, who turned 79 in June, became the oldest person to ever be inaugurated to the Oval Office earlier this year.
Gotten a big education and
Ecuador's President Daniel Noboa has won re-election by a clear margin. Results from Sunday's vote give the conservative leader around 56%. His opponent Luisa Gonzalez alleges fraud and demands a recount. Noboa, known for tough anti-crime policies, now gets a full 4-year term. Electoral authorities reported voter participation of more than 80%. Soaring crime was the key issue for voters. Nobel Prize-winning author Mario Vargas Llosa has died aged 89. The Peruvian writer, a giant of Latin American literature, passed away peacefully in Lima on Sunday, his family said. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2010. His celebrated novels include The Time of the Hero and Feast of the Goat. Vargas Llosa was a leading figure in the boom generation of Latin American writers. Known also for his strong political views, he ran unsuccessfully for Peru's presidency in 1990. His family said he leaves behind a vast body of work.
Expo 2025 officially opened in Osaka with more than 10,000 people present to attend the opening ceremony. The Japanese city has hosted the 6-month event once before in 1970. The event set Expo attendance records for decades until it was eventually topped by the 2010 Shanghai Expo. Japanese fans of the event were thrilled to see it come back to home turf. Organizers say they expect around 28 million visitors to trickle through by mid-October. The event was off to a slow start, having only sold 9 million tickets in advance, a steep drop-off from the initial target of 14 million. But with about 80 pavilions on offering from more than 160 different countries, regions, and organizations, organizers believe there is something for every visitor to enjoy.
Just seeing what the other countries have to offer. We're going for our first pavilion, actually is the Blue Ocean Dome one, so we're quite interested in ocean sustainability, especially this one, he loves the ocean.
The theme of the Osaka Expo is creating a future society for our lives. The event comes at a time of global turbulence, with U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs and various conflicts like the wars on Gaza and Ukraine. Japan is hoping the Expo will help contribute, even in the slightest, to addressing the various international crises.